Welcome back to another edition of the Knight Report podcast. I'm your host, Mike Broadbent. Joining me once again is my co-host, Richie O'Leary. We talked earlier. You might hear from us again. Here we are. Another commitment on the day for Rutgers football in the transfer portal, this time from defensive tackle Doug Blue-Eli. He previously was at South Florida. Before that, he was at TCU. And before that, he was at Monroe Junior College in New Jersey. We'll talk about what went into his commitment, what Rutgers is getting in him as a player, and go into maybe where Rutgers is going to go the rest of the way in the portal. But first, this podcast is presented to you once again by Knight and Day Apparel. Hey, Rutgers fans, get ready to slam dunk your style with Knight and Day Apparel. Cheer on the Scarlet Knights this basketball season in our exclusive Rutgers gear. From trend-setting designs to lifestyle garments, we've got you covered with everything you need to support your team in comfort and flair. Stand out in the crowd and show your passion for Rutgers basketball with designs that celebrate every dribble, dunk, and victory. Use our promo code Rutgers Rivals to get 10% off your purchase. Don't wait. Head to Knight and Day Apparel today and gear up for game day. Go Knights. We're also presented to you by BetOnline. BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds from everything from football, NBA, college basketball, NHL, and UFC. Head to BetOnline today and don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. All right, so Rutgers has long been, not long, but for about a week now, they've been connected to Doug Blue-Eli. They had him on campus this past week for the Rutgers basketball game on an official visit. Sounds like things went really well. He is initially from Paulsboro, New Jersey, so he's a Jersey guy. Just talk about Doug Blue-Eli's journey to Rutgers and what Rutgers is getting in Doug Blue-Eli.
Yeah, space heater, massive space heater. Hold on, I had his height and weight from the visit recently. It was 6'3", 330 pounds. Can't get much bigger than that. That is a legitimate run-stuffing defensive tackle. Doesn't put up great numbers, and not that you really should as a run-stuffing defensive tackle, to be honest with you. You're just there to eat space. And that's exactly what he's going to do. An experienced guy, played at TCU for a season. You mentioned also played at JUCO at New Rochelle, New York, over at Monroe College. And then had a couple years at South Florida. Talking to our South Florida guys, they said he's not a great player, but he's a solid player. Like, he's pretty good. Just a good depth piece, a rotational piece. Like I keep saying over and over again. I said yesterday with the James Madison commit, they want to rotate these guys. They want to have a couple different defensive tackles. They don't want to have guys playing 40, 50 snaps, getting them tired out. You can do that if you have legitimate, like, superstar defensive tackles. Sure, that's fine. But I wouldn't say they're superstars unless superstar defensive tackles are just hard to come by too. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
There's not many talented defensive tackles out there. And if they are out there, they're getting paid significant money. So I do think this is a solid get. I think he'll be a very good run stuffer for Rutgers in the middle, alongside maybe Gerald Denage. I forget how to pronounce the other kid's name. I knew I was going to butcher that eventually.
It's Dengoe.
Dengoe, see? It was bound to happen, let's be honest. But anyway, they're not done at defensive tackle either. It sounds like they might get another too. But this one seems like a solid get, solid production at South Florida. Nothing too crazy, but Jersey kid coming back home. So it's always an easy sell pretty much. And had both of them on campus at the same time, and that was it.
So on the season, in 2024, he had 17 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and an interception, believe it or not, for a 320-pound guy. I have the video of that interception.
Okay, perfect, because I had it and I exited out on accident.
Pretty impressive play for a guy his size. So tip ball and makes the diving interception, able to scoop it up before it hits the turf. That looks like a play that from a guy who is just a very athletic dude for his size.
Now, that looks like eerily similar to Jordan Thompson's interception, but this guy's got about 30 pounds on Jordan Thompson,
At
40
least.
pounds on, if not more. Like, yeah, really good. I like this get. I'm very impressed that Rutgers has invested some in the interior of the defense. They lost Keontae Hamilton, lost Malcolm Ray, Lost, who am I missing? Someone else. Troy Rainey. So they're going to have to replace guys. Now, they still have Zaire Angoy, who will probably be a depth piece at that point. Similar guy will also eat space. I'm trying to think who else they have.
Got
Back
Keshawn
there.
Griffin coming
Keshawn
back.
Griffin coming back, who actually flashed a couple times.
Got
Maybe
the two
Henry
freshmen coming in.
Yeah, so maybe Henry Hughes shows some promise. Maybe Jasir Peterson shows some promise. Yeah, they're just kind of stacking bodies in the interior, and this is a good get. I know he only has 1 year left, but I think he'll have a solid year. I think I'd argue that he'll have his best year of his career at Rutgers. I will make a bold prediction there.
It's also a good. It's just a good example of good self scouting. Like they clearly identified that the interior of the defense was not where it needed to be this year. There was no push, and that's a big part of why you don't get sacks is not getting push up the middle. Like the guys who collect those sacks are typically the defensive ends or the linebackers. But the reason sacks typically happen are because there's interior pressure. And that forces a guy to go one way or the other, and then the defensive end is able to scoop up the sack. But excited about both guys they got today. Excited about Dingoe from yesterday. So this is 2 defensive tackles now the staff has gotten commitments from in the portal. Do you think they're done on the defensive interior, or do you think they might go after another guy as well?
No, they're going to look for another one. They have to replace 3 guys, and that's exactly what they're going to do. It sounds like there's a couple different names out there. Parker Peterson's one from Tulane.
From Tulane, yep.
I believe it's been reported he has an offer from Rutgers. David okay. Also got an offer.
Hadley Christian.
Yeah, so they're not done yet. This is going to be interesting. 3 portal defensive tackles. Who would have thought? I mean, they've gotten one every year, not 3. So we'll see. But going back to Blue-Eli, he was also a JUCO All-American in his solo season at Monroe College. I'm looking at now. Played in 10 games. Team went 10-1. 25 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries. He seems pretty athletic, like you saw on that tape. Like I like this one a lot, actually, more than I thought I would after watching and looking up some stuff on him and learning more about him.
Yep, no, I'm a big fan of this commitment just for the quality depth that it'll provide.
Yeah.
So you think they'll go after one more defensive tackle at least? Let's talk generally where else you think they're going to target in the portal. I guess we'll start with receiver, since we just got some news that a receiver will be on campus next week for a visit. Let's talk about who that player is, and then we'll get into other positions.
DT Sheffield out of technically North Texas, but was a former 2023 JUCO that signed with Washington State. He had a really good – he didn't do much for Washington State in 2023. In 2024, he kind of exploded a bit. 66 receptions, 800 yards, 11 touchdowns, a true, I would say, slot receiver, 5'10", 175, if I recall. Something around that range. But it sounds like they want to fill that slot receiver spot. Dymere Miller's gone. Christian Dremel's gone. So you do need a replacement there. I know we've speculated that Ben Black could fit there. Now I think they're going to try to keep Ben Black on the outside, which makes more sense because he is that true deep ball threat we've seen, minus the hands at times. But Mississippi kid, going to be something to keep an eye on. He's at Arkansas today, and he'll be at Rutgers on Monday. So as long as he doesn't commit to Arkansas on that visit this weekend, I think Rutgers has a pretty solid shot.
Let's go into another pass catching role. Obviously, Colin Weber from Charlotte was offered. He was on campus for an official visit. Yeah. It sounds like he wants to take his time. He's gotten some more offers. Do you think the staff kind of moves on at this point, or do you think they're going to keep him on the back burner while they still look for another tight end?
I think you probably keep him a little bit on the back burner just to say, like, hey, I don't know. I mean, you can't really wait in terms of the transfer portal nowadays. Like, some kids want to wait and want to see what else is out there, want to take more visits, want to get more offers and all that. I don't think you can really afford to wait. Now, if Colin Weber called them right this second and said, hey, I'm in, I think that you probably have to take him. Yeah. If he's going to keep delaying, I think you start looking again. And that kind of goes hand in hand with some of the stuff you post on the boards, because there's just a little bit more interest in tight ends recently. So I think they're probably going to move on, if I had to guess. You really can't afford to wait anymore. It's time to either shit or get off the pot, for lack of a better term.
So we talked about receiver, we talked about tight end. Where are some other positions that you expect Rutgers to target in the portal moving forward?
Defensive end, definitely. You need one. We know they've offered Kazim Moore, but he'll be at Cincinnati and Texas Tech, as we reported earlier today, this week, and into Monday, I think. I know Indiana's also pushing there. There's someone else there too. I forget. I don't expect him to end up at Rutgers. They'll probably send out a couple more defensive end offers, potentially add a linebacker, depending on who it is. It's got to be a rotational piece because I think Jabome has earned his spot as a starter. Mohamed Toure is coming back. If he's 100%, it will be a starter, of course. Actually, if he's even not even 100%, he'd probably still be a starter, to be honest with you. Cornerback, I still think they need a cornerback. I love Bo Mascow's ability, and his trajectory is going to be I think it'll be a high NFL draft pick one day. I don't know if I'm ready to call him cornerback one right now. I think you should go find a cornerback one. Safety, Kosh Sanders has one role. Probably need to find another safety or two, depending on how you want to play that third or that fifth DB spot. You can keep it as a slot corner, which they've done in the past. They also switched midseason and kind of put Saquon Loyal more towards the line of scrimmage as that linebacker hybrid safety role as well. So I'd say probably a couple DBs, a defensive end, a linebacker, and you need a tackle. You need an offensive tackle. We know they've reached out to a couple, but nothing has really came of it. They reached out to a Bowling Green offensive tackle who's at Indiana and Kentucky this weekend. I think it's Indiana, Kentucky and someone. And Alex, I'm not even going to try to spell or pronounce his last name. It's
like Wolfschlager.
Yeah, something like that. It sounds like a beer, to be honest with you.
It does sound like a beer,
yeah. So offensive wide receiver, a slot receiver specifically, offensive tackle, defensive end, maybe linebacker, and definitely at least two, if not three DBs. This is just the way of the world. I know Shiano wanted to make the portal just to fill the gaps. That's not the way it works anymore. Portal recruiting is king, and that's just how you're going to have to do it. It's a new roster every single season now.
Yeah, so still a ton more that will be filled in the transfer portal this offseason. So like we said yesterday, like we'll say time and time again after we close these pods, stay posted to the boards because news is coming fast and furious, and we'll keep you as up to date as we possibly can. But also stay tuned to your podcast feed because who knows? I don't think we'll have any more today. But yeah, honestly, you never know.
Man, it's been a lot of pods this week. What do we do? 5?
It's been a lot. But we thank each and every one of you for listening. Everybody who's rated, reviewed, told a friend, subscribed. If you haven't subbed to the channel on YouTube yet, I don't know what you're doing. We're trying to get to 5K subs. Usually when we hit a milestone, we do some giveaways.
We'll do something.
Maybe that's some incentive for you guys to subscribe if you haven't already. Just look up Knight Report on YouTube. And if you haven't followed us on your favorite podcasting platform either, what are you doing? Come on. Boost our numbers there. It helps grow the show.
Yep.
If you haven't given a review, do that as well. That helps tremendously. 5-star reviews only. Thank you very much. But that's all we got for today. For me and Rich, this has been another edition of the Knight Report podcast. Signing off.